Ah, churros, sweet, sweet churros. It's time for a change. You've been hogging up way too much attention, and it's time for the savory churros to shine. Yeah, savory churros are a thing. So I'm gonna first show you how to make the dough. It starts off on the stove. So in a pot, I'm gonna add some butter. I like to cube them up a little so it melts easier and faster, followed by some water and milk. The stove is off, by the way. A little salt. What makes this savory is a little bit of garlic powder. Yes, yes, yes. Just turn on the heat to low and bring it to just a simmer, okay? We just want the butter to melt. If you didn't know, this is the beginning stage of making a dough called pâte choux. I know, it sounds like a cute little name you give a kitty that goes around making viral internet videos, but it's actually a dough used to make things like eclairs, croquembouche. You see, there are a lot of things you can make with this, and usually they are desserts, but there are things like gougères, like cheesy gougères, that are savory, so that's what I'm kind of inspired by. Now it's time to add the flour. This is my favorite part, you'll see why. Gradually sprinkle it into the liquid and keep stirring and stirring. It starts to look a little pasty, right? It starts sticking to the pan, but if you keep mixing, keep it on low heat, it will pull away from the sides and become a mass of dough. It's so cool. This is ready, check this out. One mass of dough. Transfer it to a bowl. Boop. Before we can add any eggs to this, we need it to cool down so we don't have scrambled eggs. So the best way to do that is to spread it around the bowl, cool off. Now for the eggs. Usually you have to stir in one at a time, but I find it's easier if you scramble them all together and then add them in additions. For this step, you could use a mixer, but it's easy just to do it by hand. You just need a little patience. So that's one part in. Mix it together. It seems like it's not gonna come together, but honey, trust me, just like your life, it will. Mix again. Now just transfer it to a piping bag. I have a star tip at the end of the bag so we get those nice lines on a churro. And a little tip I learned from my good friend Julie is to twist the bag right here, place it into a jar or a glass, and that will prevent the batter from just spilling out. Because Julie knows I'm a hot mess, and this tip applied to both me and the bag. Now I've got some oil heating up here to 350 degrees. I like to use a nice wide pan so I can make long strips. Transfer the dough into the piping bag. You also need a little knife so that you can cut off the strips. Just carefully draw a line in the oil. Then use a knife to cut it off. And just let them fry up until they're golden brown. They should float. These are all done. Now you can lay them on some paper towel or a rack, and while they're still hot, you want to make the coating. Now instead of cinnamon and sugar, we're going in some grated Parmesan cheese. For a little color, some dried parsley. This will stick onto the churros much better. You want to crumple it up so it's nice and flaky. For a little bit of heat, I'm going in with some cayenne powder. Take your churros, toss them around. Look at that, it's a beautiful thing. We're not done yet here, my friends. You know how you dip churros in chocolate? Well, we're gonna dip ours in some cheese. To make the dipping sauce, melt butter in a saucepan, then add some flour and whisk to make a little roux. Then add milk, let that come to a simmer, and add in some shredded cheddar cheese. Let all of that melt together and season with salt and pepper. And there you have it, savory churros with cheese dip. Cheese on cheese, that's just how I like it. That is dangerous stuff. I hope you guys give this a try. I'll see you next time. Bye.